How's it going, fight fans? Welcome to mindforcombat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan and this is my platform where I do MMA and boxing related content, and you're watching my As Requested series, and this is actually a proud milestone for me. This is number 10, episode 10 of As Requested, where you the subscribers decide which videos I make on Mondays by simply commenting in the comment section below. I'll pick out a video suggestion at random, and on Mondays I'll make a video based on your suggestions, and I tend to give channel shout outs at the end of the video. Not going to be doing that today, not for no reason, just I thought I'll focus on the video, and that's what this one was about. But remember guys, if you want your videos to be made, then just comment below and I'll pick out one at random. So that's what you got to do. So anyways, this one comes from my good friend over in the States, Eric Gould from Taylor the Tape, and he asked me who are the four most unexpected UFC champions in my opinion. Now, when looking at this question, I've looked at it in a couple of ways, so I kind of tied this into another one. In my opinion, if you're an unexpected UFC champion, that means you've pulled off a major upset to win that belt. And I mean, your career can make you seem like an unexpected champion, someone that you would never expect to be a champion. Then you've gone on and flourished and become a world champion. And that's someone kind of like Rafael dos Anjos, who went and become a world champion when he started off in the UFC as being 0-2. You never had expected that he was going to go on and be a UFC champion. But then if you looked at the body of RDA's work as he grew closer and closer to his title shot, you saw him grow and develop as a fighter and improve, and then you was actually like, you know what, I could actually see this guy become a world champion. So things kind of changed for him. So for me, the four people that I've picked, they've A, pulled off a major upset, and B, maybe they never had the body or work in their careers at that point in time to suggest that there was ever going to be a world champion, and that's what made them so unexpected for me. Now, of course, my list ain't going to include Chris Weidman because it's not about upsets. And actually, leading up to his first fight with Anderson Silva, I actually thought that he was going to beat Anderson Silva. I felt like Anderson Silva was coming towards the end of his career. I felt like he was slowing down, and I felt like Chris Weidman had the wrestling chops. I felt like he was Chael version 2.0 at that point, to be honest with you. So I actually picked him to win that fight. And so that's going to be one of the notable ones that's going to be missing from my list. Some keys are some other notable ones are probably someone like Fabricio Werdum, who beat Cain Velasquez back when Cain Velasquez wasn't being beaten, and he himself was like 37, 38 years old, so it was kind of surprising at the time. But anyways, guys, without further ado, here's my top 4 list. So at number 4, I've got Holly Holm. Holly Holm, the preacher's daughter, when she beat Ronda Rousey to become the women's bantamweight world champion. Now that is a super shocking world champion for me, because firstly, we look at Holly Holm's body of work coming into that world title fight. At that time, she was all of 2-0 in the UFC. She had beaten Raquel Pennington, and she had beaten I forget her name now, but the lady who's like 40 years old now. So she hadn't looked particularly impressive in it. Particularly if we look at her fight with Raquel Pennington, it was a fight where she didn't really impress anyone. She kind of came out there, done her striking, she won a decision. It was an unimpressive decision, and we as the fans were kind of unblown away. Alternatively, you had Ronda Rousey, who was 12-0 at the time, and had finished practically everyone she had ever faced. Not practically, she had finished everyone she had ever faced. And we're talking some really good fighters. She had beat Miesha Tate twice. Now, it's easy to say that she never beat no one that great when we think about it in this day and age, but that's not necessarily the case. So she beat Miesha Tate not once but twice. She beat Sarah Kaufman. She beat the likes of Sarah McMahon. She beat the likes of, she beat some good fighters. Kat Zingano. She knocked out Betch Carrera in like a few seconds over in Brazil in the main event, and I know what you're thinking, that's Betch, but still it's relevant to note that she had been finishing. When she fought Holly Holm, it was almost a foregone conclusion that she was going to smush through Holly Holm, and that's what made that so unexpected to me. Holly Holm's brilliant performance that night, the unimpressive body of work she had in the realm of MMA leading up to that fight, and the conclusion of that fight all brings her as one of the most unexpected world champions for me in UFC history. So that's number 4 for me. As we move down to number 3, we got TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw, who fought Renan Barão with a record of 9 wins and 2 losses at the time, was fighting Renan Barão, who was 32 wins and 1 loss. Imagine that for a comparison. That's actually kind of crazy. Renan Barão had also defended his belt on 3 different occasions and was widely regarded as one of the pound-for-pound best in the world, with Dana White comparing him directly to Floyd Mayweather and calling him the Floyd Mayweather of MMA because his vaunted mixed martial arts record, which was pretty damn impressive. Renan Barão was seen as the guy. Everyone was hoping that he would have fought Dominic Cruz at some point when Dominic Cruz was finally healthy. TJ Dillashaw came in there kind of as an afterthought. Even when you look at the poster, you got this big, massive Renan Barão holding the belt, and TJ Dillashaw at the bottom like that, really small. And it was really, really shocking leading into that fight. So when TJ Dillashaw came in there with just a rookie 9-2 record, having 2 losses, 1 fight removed from a loss against a Rafael Sanzao, taking on a guy who was a dominant champion on a dominant win streak, training with Jose Aldo, being vaunted as one of the pound-for-pound best in the world. Yeah, that's a shocking world champion to me. So, I mean, TJ Dillashaw went on to do some great stuff with or without the help of EPO, you know what I mean? He went on to win the world title, defended it a couple of times, then lost it, then won the world title again, defended it against Cody Garbrandt, and that was pretty damn impressive to me. So, TJ Dillashaw at number 3. So, that's who I have number 3. At number 2, we got one of the most shocking upsets in the UFC history. We got Matt Serra at number 2 as the most my second most surprised UFC champion of all time, and that was an impressive example of what I'm talking about. So he fought George St-Pierre. George St-Pierre at the time was 13-1. Had beaten Matt Hughes, who at the time was the man to beat. He had beaten BJ Penn, Caro Parisian. He had beaten a lot of great guys. He was a really, really respected top-tier fighter. Had just become a world champion, and it was thought that he was going to go on to become a very, very dominant champion, and he did go on to become a very, very dominant fighter and a champion. But I believe that this night shaped his career in a lot of ways. Matt Serra came into the fight with a 9-4 record, just off the back of 1 win. Yes, he had won the Ultimate Fighter, the Comeback Series, which actually was my favorite series of the Ultimate Fighter. But you know what? There was nothing suggesting Matt Serra was going to take out George St-Pierre and be the world champion. The thing that Matt Serra carried into this fight was punching power, and that's pretty impressive, and he was able to use that to his victory, and that win over GSP still ranks as probably the greatest upset of all time in the history of UFC, and his body of work just wasn't there. So that was a great win for Matt Serra. He's my number 2 most surprised, unexpected UFC champion of all time for me. So that's Matt Serra at number 2. At number 1, we got a guy who not only in his prime, people didn't think was he going to be in champion. At the time he became champion, he was most certainly out of his prime. This is Michael the Count Bisping. Michael the Count Bisping, who won the world title at 36 years old, came into the fight with a record of 28-7, just 3 straight wins, and his last fight being Anderson Silva, a fight that many people felt he had lost. Michael Bisping had many opportunities to earn a number 1 contenders fight in his career, but he had lost them. And coming into his fight with Luke Rockhold, who had just taken out Chris Weidman and was being, sold to us as the future middleweight great, he was really not expected to be able to get the win here. Now, this is really key and important for me, this fight here, because Michael Bisping coming to the fight with a loss to Luke Rockhold, where he got finished, and he had only further degraded since then because he had gotten older. His eye was shot from the Vitor Belfort head kick. He was just older. He took this fight on short notice. It was he was never a guy. So skill for skill, we felt like Luke Rockhold couldn't lose to Michael Bisping. We felt like skill for skill, Michael Bisping didn't have what it took to mix it up with Luke Rockhold. We had seen him lose to Luke Rockhold, who was the young dominant dude who had just taken out Chris Weidman, and everyone expected him to be champion for a long time. Michael Bisping was never a heavy hitter either, so in most fights you have a puncher's chance, but no one was giving Bisping a puncher's chance, and I think that was really important to remember. What happened though? Michael Bisping came out there and knocked out Luke Rockhold absolutely flat. So to cap off an excellent career, a career where he never really won a world title, and everyone saw he was going downscale. He had the best run of his entire career, put together a 5-fight win streak in which he revenged a loss, revenged another loss to Dan Henderson in defending his belt, and before he went on to lose to George St-Pierre. And really it was an excellent run to finish an excellent career, and a career that no one ever expected to end with world championship accolades, and that was just absolutely incredible. So I was really, really impressed by Michael Bisping, and I believe a lot of people were impressed by that performance by Michael Bisping. So Michael Bisping is my number 1 most unexpected UFC champion of all time. So guys, what do you guys think of my list? I hope you guys liked the way I structured it or answered your question. Eric, I hope I answered it the correct way that you was hoping to, but it's just how I interpreted the question and how I thought it would play out, and that's how it played out in my head. What's you guys' top 4 most unexpected UFC champions of all time? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. It's Mindful Combat.